Hey everybody, welcome to American Idol Unaired. I'm your host Bennett Shear. Today we have another aired exception, someone that you did see on season 21 of American Idol. Please welcome Fire.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
It hasn't been too long since we last saw you on the show, so how are you feeling? I know it hasn't been that long.
Like seeing everything kind of unravel on TV, honestly, it weighs on you like mentally and emotionally and stuff like that. And obviously while people are watching and stuff, you already know the outcome. So it's kind of hard. It's amazing having the support from everybody and seeing like people saying like, "Oh my God, like I know you're gonna make it," and I feel really bad because I'm like, I hate to tell you, but you're gonna see or whatever. But yeah, I mean it's been a lot, but just seeing the amount of love and support that I've gotten from people watching the show and even like people that worked with the show and stuff is really, really nice.
What is that like to be so active on social media and to kind of have this newfound recognition of people that are like, "Oh my gosh, we want you to go all the way," and you can't tell them stuff, but seriously, I mean, to have this kind of TV recognition, what has that been like for you?
Honestly, it's still kind of new to me dealing with like all the social media and stuff. Like I'm not really that involved and I wouldn't say like I'm an influencer or anything. So definitely going from like I think I had like 1,500 followers, and those were like my loyal, like troopers, we were ride or dies. And then just going from like American Idol, just like exposing me and triple, double, whatever, like so many more followers. Um, I mean, it's amazing. It's a lot to keep up with, like going through the DMs and try not to read the comments, but like I'm human, so obviously I'm gonna read some of the comments. But it has been more love and support than the hate, so I'm grateful for that. I mean, if you hate me, I guess it's a compliment because you still take time out of your day
Yeah.
to come and say something to me.
No, that's so true. Did Idol reach out to you? Did you try it yourself?
So I didn't know there was a such thing as like them reaching out to you. So I auditioned the old fashioned way.
Oh
Like
wow.
I saw the advertisement for it on Facebook, I think, and then like a friend told me to like audition because otherwise I probably wouldn't have auditioned myself. So I was like, why not? And I was like, nothing's gonna come of it, but why not? So I just did the Zoom and it took like hours, but eventually like I was told like I was gonna be able to go and audition.
It feels rare nowadays because I mean, you probably heard around set like something like 80% of people were scouted, you know?
Yeah, I felt like that's kind of I think that's what started the doubt for me in the beginning of the process was because like so many people were scouted, because they had already been noticed by like a lot of people and they have a big following and stuff. And I just felt like I was not like that at all. Like I wasn't really putting anything out and you know, I hadn't really been noticed and stuff. So I was just like I just felt like on a completely different side than everybody else rather than getting scouted. I just jumped on a whim. So
So then what made you want to made you audition for American Idol? I mean, quite literally, what fueled your fire?
I have always loved the show. Like I always wanted to be on like a talent show ever since I was little. Like I wanted to be either on American Idol or The Voice or America's Got Talent. Like I just wanted to get on a stage and just like sing and like when you're a kid, you're like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna go on there and I'm gonna rock it. Everybody's gonna love me and I'm gonna be famous. Clearly, that's not how it works. But I just wanted to make that dream come true from my younger self, and it was an opportunity to take, and if I had the option to take it, why not?
What did that process look like a little bit? Because you said you're waiting for hours. Were you expecting to make it? You're in this sea of people that are all doing the same thing. What was your mindset?
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was a scam because you know I think everything good is a scam, but so you get into the Zoom and there's like so many people, like you just see that there's like so many, so many, so many people. And just like as you're sitting there, more people are joining and more people are joining, and you're just like, this is gonna take forever. And you I think you schedule like a time slot, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna go at that time. because there's just so many people. So I think my actual appointment that I auditioned was like hours later, and you literally just sit, you just plan to sit there all day waiting to audition. And it was nice being able to do over Zoom because like you could be at home. So like me being a mom, like I was able to like hang out with my kid and everything. So I just like keep her content, but also like being able to stay at home. And I was singing all throughout the day just to like warm up and make sure I was ready. Yeah, so going through it, I plan to sing Talking to the Moon, and then I sang that for, I can't remember if it was like one or like three people. And then once you get a yes or a no from them, you go to another round of producers. And so, some odd reason, I got a yes to go on. And I was like, whatever. I'm just like, okay, I'm excited to go into this next room of like producers and stuff. And so I sing in front of them, and they're like, okay, wow, yeah, nice. And like they ask me questions about my life and stuff, and they get to know me and stuff. And then they're like, okay, that second round was like called like the winner circle or whatever. And then they said that I was gonna have to sing again. I don't remember why they said to, but so I was like, whatever, I'll sing again. And turns out that was the actual like executive producers were hiding behind like the screens. And then after I sang, they came out and they're like, hey, we just want you to know that you're gonna sing for the judges. And I was like, oh my god, okay, cool. So yeah.
Wow, and I guess the rest is history, as they say, because we probably got to see almost as much of your idol journey as we could have, right? Because they showed every round, and we really got to see what was going on backstage. And this whole podcast, American Idol on Air, we interview the contestants that you didn't get to see, and of course, we have these aired exceptions. But for you, they showed, I'm guessing, pretty much all of what happened with your journey.
So what's funny is like, I mean, I'm first of all, I'm very grateful for the amount of screen time that I got because I know a lot of people who are way more talented than me. They made it farther or never make it, but they have talent and they don't get seen, sadly. So I'm grateful to have that portion of, being able to be seen and being able to have that screen time to gain a following. But there is so much that you don't see, like so much that you don't see. Like they cut out days of recording. They just throw it all out. Like there's so much to compact in like an episode. So they have to like just take snippets of things that they like. And I did get a lot of screen time, but like it still doesn't show like the full picture of what goes on. And yeah, like I remember in both of my audition episodes, they got aired, which is great. And it didn't go like that at all. Like I had to sing two songs in my first audition, and then obviously y'all know how it went. It didn't go great, but I got that second chance. Um, and so the second time I came back, and first of all, I completely apologized to the judges for the way that it seemed like I was acting, because I have this thing about me where I have to cut off, like I put a wall up when my emotions start to get the best of me, and I don't want to look like a crybaby. And so I kind of just like, my walls go up, and I just stop myself from feeling my feelings. So it looks like I have an attitude, but I'm just trying to compose myself. And so I told the judges, I was like, I just want to say, like, I'm really sorry for the way that it looked like I was acting, but I really do appreciate you guys. And I'm sorry that it came across that way. And I'm not mad at you guys. And they were like, okay, good, because it looked like you wanted to kill us. So I was like, no, we're all good, all love here. And so after that, I sang um, the song that they aired. I sang the Love in the Dark by Adele. And that's why it's confusing of how like it can be seen as why it's confusing as to why I got a yes from all three judges, because the critiques were from that song, and that song is not what got me a yes.
Oh,
I ended up singing another song that I had not planned on singing, but I luckily had an original song that I wrote, and so I sang that, and that's what turned their decision from a no to a yes. So I was very surprised when they didn't air that, but uh, yeah, it was nice getting to um, kind of like expose my true emotions and who I really was through my original song. And that's what they originally loved about me, because they were like, that song really just says so much about you, and we can understand you on a deeper level now. And yeah, so I'm really sad that they get to share that part.
you were fighting because to have to audition twice, I mean, that doesn't happen to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while to like, I wouldn't say like I was grateful for the experience, but like it hurts you when it first happens, so you don't really get to appreciate it at the time, because it's like ultimately it's like a no. You
Yeah,
get told a no, and the feedback that I got was not that great. So I went in feeling very like uneasy about even going back and audition the second time, because I was like, they didn't have anything good to say, so why should I go back? And I felt like insecure about why I was there. And ultimately, like what people are saying now, like a lot of the hate that I'm getting now is how I was feeling. That was my insecurities back in that time, because I was like, oh, I'm just here for pity. Like they don't actually like me. Um, like I'm just here because the producers want a sob story. And the way that they edited it, it kind of seems that way. And so I still have like mixed feelings about it. But at this time, I know that that's not what the case was, because I know that they did like my voice, and it was more than just like my personality, which is what a lot of people think. Um, and so yeah, like I've talked to the producers and stuff, because I still am good friends with some of them, and the judges are nice, and they actually do talk to you like actual human beings, and not just like some stars that sit on a pedestal. And they really comfort you and give you that feedback, and just make sure that you know where they sit with you. And it wasn't a case of sympathy. And yeah.
probably got even more interesting when you went to Hollywood Week because, again, we got to see the rounds, but I am kind of curious if there's anything that we didn't get to see from the different performances.
Yeah. Honestly, like the first round was a performance challenge, so that was great. I felt really confident about that performance. And that was like a one of the few performances I didn't cry through, so that was nice. Um, yeah, it was so amazing, like meeting Clay Aiken and stuff. Like I honestly didn't know who he was before then, so I felt really like bad. And I just walked into the room. I didn't really know that he was a celebrity. I was like, oh, like, so it didn't, I didn't have that like, like starstruck moment where it was hard to sing in front of him or talk to him, because I was like, I don't know who he is. But I mean, he's really nice and he gives great advice. And, I ended up crying in front of him. So he's honestly a really nice person. And I feel like that round went really well. And I was proud of myself and shocked that I made it to the next round, because I was like, what the heck? But then the second round was duets, and like how it displayed on TV is exactly how it was shown, like how it was in real life. Like the night of the end of the first round, it went directly into the second round. The judges are like, all right, it's not over. Pick a song now, pick a partner, and you're gonna be performing in the morning. And it was a lot. Like you got no sleep, you were starving because there was no food around. Like you had to make time to sing and get your shit ready. So it was like there was no time for anything else. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of an anxious person. And so I was really like, the whole time they were talking about duets, I don't know, I just had a feeling that they were going to say that this season we were going to get to pick our partners. And I was like please, please, please tell me that that's not the case, because I have anxiety. And like, it took me a long time to actually connect with people during that season. So I didn't really know a lot of people. I kind of kept to myself. And so right when they said, like, you guys get to pick your own partners, I was like tearing up, because I was like, nobody's gonna want to sing with me. Like, everybody else has friends and they all like each other singing, and I didn't think anybody liked me. So I was like, oh God. And then I'm just sitting there being like a little crybaby in my head. And Katy Perry actually, she's like yelling for me because she's like still at like the panel. And so I'm like, somebody's calling my name. And I kid you not, like, Katy Perry told me to come to her. And she said, I know who you need to pair up with. And I said, okay, just tell me who and I'll do it. Like, I don't care. And she was like, she told me, she was like, this girl, she sings like this, and I think y'all would sing really well together. And I said, I don't even know who that is, Katie. And she's like, well, this is what she looks like. I'll show her to you. And so we're just like looking around the room, and she shows me her, and I'm like, all right, I'll go pair up with her. So I go up to this girl, and this girl's Kaya, and I say, hi, I'm Fire. You don't know me. I don't know you, but I have something really crazy to tell you. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, Katy Perry really wants us to pair up together. And she's like, well, sorry, I already have like a partner. And I was like, okay, that's
Anxiety.
cool. Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is exactly why I didn't want to do this. And then I was like, Katy Perry told me this for a reason. So I was like, no, like, I don't think you hear me. Katy Perry said that we need to pair up. So, like, what are you going to do? So I take her and I take her over to Katy Perry. And she's like, um, did you really tell us to like pair up? Because I'm already paired up with somebody. And then Katy Perry's like, yeah, I just think you guys would sound really well together. So she was like, okay. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. So, and then we go decide to be partners, and then we go and pick our song. And yeah, like, that whole rest of the night it went smoothly. Like, we agreed on everything that we wanted to do. We agreed on the song, we agreed on the arrangement. Everything was great until the next morning. We get it was a whirlwind. Like, I missed my alarm. I was so tired. I woke up and then I got there a little bit late, but like, she wasn't mad at me or anything, so that was great. And we started rehearsing, and we couldn't remember the words. It was just a whole chaotic situation. And then Kaya started getting like kind of sick, and she didn't feel well, and she kind of just disappeared. And I was like, well, I don't know where she's at right now, but I'm gonna go rehearse. And I rehearsed in the bathroom like all day, and I would just text her throughout the day, and I'm like, how are you feeling? Like, I'm still rehearsing, just let me know how you're feeling, and just let me know when you can come meet me and we can practice together. And then I had a producer walk up to me, and she's like, yeah, Kaya isn't feeling well. Like, she's not going to be able to sing with you. And I'm like, okay, like, this is a lot. Like, I've been practicing as Duet this whole time. So, like, I wasn't mad at her. I didn't have any, like, bad vibes, like, or anything against her. I was just like, it sucks that she's feeling like crap. So I got with my vocal coaches and my accompanist, and we figured out a new arrangement for the song. And I was just gonna go through it as a solo, I guess. And then that was like halfway throughout the day. And that's when people were already starting to perform, and they didn't tell you when your order was. They were just going up randomly, so you could have been next at any point. And so I'm just trying to practice my solo. And then, yeah, like halfway throughout the day, after I finish eating lunch, I get another producer come up to me, and she says, "Hey, I think you know what I'm about to ask you." And I'm like, "No, I don't. Lay it on me." And she says, "So your partner would like to come back because if she doesn't sing, then she has to go home. Because obviously, if you don't do the round, you can't continue because that's not fair to other people." So I'm like, I'm a bit uneasy about it. And she's like, "I'm just saying, like, what would you do? Like, would you want somebody to, like, cut your career off and not give you this opportunity?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't quit. So I don't know." But I'm like, I'm not gonna, I was like, I will try because I'm not gonna be the reason that she doesn't go on, like I'm not gonna be the person to blame for that. So I said, if she knows the song and if she's willing to do it on stage with me, then yes, we will work on the arrangement again. So she says yes. And then we go and we practice some more for like another hour or two. And she still doesn't know the words. She still like doesn't even, she can't even remember the melody or anything at this point. And I'm just like, this is a pain in the butt. Like, what is going on right now? And I'm like, I felt way less ready at that point in the day than I had in the beginning of the day. So then we go into the rehearsals and we're still trying to work it out as a duet again. And then she just decides that she's going to quit again. So we're in the middle of rehearsals and then she just quits. And I'm just sobbing because I'm like, so what am I going to do now? And they literally dragged me from crying in the rehearsals after she just quit. And they're like, you're going on stage now. You're doing it. You're going now. And I'm like, I can't even practice again because I don't even know what I'm singing anymore. And nope, they drag you on stage and they push me on stage. And I'm like, I'm just trying to say the words in my head. And I'm like, let me just remember what the words are. And all they told me was that she's going to walk on stage with me, even though we're not singing together. They wanted her to come out and talk to the judges. So I know she got a lot of hate for like, why would you come on stage even if you weren't going to sing? Like, it wasn't her decision. The producers made her do that, like, because she wouldn't have done that. Um, but yeah, so we go on stage. She just says like, hey, you can see it on TV. Like, she's like, I'm not gonna be performing. And what they don't show is Katie gets really, really pissed off because it was like, it took a while for her to say all of her whole speech. And she just says, like, I just don't want to perform. Like, I just don't feel good. Like, I don't feel like I would sound my best. And she's like, but you're not even going to try. Like, there's people that are sick, like they lose their voices through Hollywood Week, but they still try. And she was just like, no, like it just wouldn't look good for my image. Like, I don't want to put myself out there if it's not going to be my best, which is understandable too. But Katy Perry did not like that. And she says, like, I fought for you, and like you're not even fighting for it, and you're leaving fire. Like, this isn't fair for her. And she just she dug into her. And I felt so bad. Everybody in the auditorium was just like, it was a lot. And then after that, they finally asked me how I felt. And I'm just like, I don't even know anymore. Like, y'all are just stressing me out. And so I just started sobbing. And so that's what you see. Um, yeah. So a lot more went down. And that's why I sobbed like I did. Like, it wasn't just out of nowhere. And it was the most stressful time.
All I can say is Jaina to the rescue, because once again, after she did that with Aiden and Summer, she's, I guess, the calm in the storm, and then you were able to sing the song with someone else and make it through to Showstoppers, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. Gina is seriously a sweetheart, and I honestly didn't really know her until we sang together, and I was just like, who is this person? I just had to remember her face so I can go and say thank you to her later. And yeah, we definitely made it a point after, like, after the performance and stuff, and after we made it through or whatever, we had that moment to just kind of talk about it. And, I obviously said my thanks and showed my gratitude, and I just wanted to express that appreciation to her because I don't know. I don't even know if I would have made it without her. So
How chaotic and random was it that all of a sudden, like, Katie was like, does any random contestant just want to come up and sing with you? Were you just like, what is happening?
I was not expecting that at all because they were telling me all day that if she didn't sing with me, it was going to be a solo.
Okay.
So I was like, it went from duet to solo to duet to solo to duet again with somebody else, and I was just like, okay. I was just like, what are we gonna sing? Like, it was very stressful.
Yeah.
And I forgot to tell you that, like, they didn't show this either, that before Kaya quit in the morning, me and her practiced, and we sounded really good. It was just the words that we had to make sure we got onto. And Katy Perry actually came and listened to us. So
Oh.
we got to see her in her outfit, like, before everybody else. And I just felt so lucky. I was like, she's coming to mentor us right now. And yeah, she came up to us and she wanted to hear us sing the parts. And she was like, wow, like, this sounds killer. Like, y'all sound like really powerful together. Like, this was the perfect song for you guys. And this is like perfect to show you guys. That's why it was frustrating as well, because we went from, like, Katy Perry was like, oh yeah, like, that's exactly what I've been wanting, to the end of the day where I obviously had to sing. I was like, it's nothing like that. Like, she's gonna be so disappointed. So yeah.
Now, I assume that the song you and Kaya were going to sing was "What Do You Want From Me," and then that's the song that Jana sang with you too.
Yeah.
Do you know who her duet partner was going to be before things got switched up because of you getting paired with her?
No, I didn't pick anyone because I'm just sitting there, like, stressing out.
Right. By the way, just before we talk about showstoppers, so I assume that you spent a lot of time sitting in the audience for Performance Challenge and the duets. Do you remember who any standouts were for you as an audience member watching the other contestants perform?
I got to watch people during the performance challenge. It was amazing getting to see, like, all of them. Like, Nutsa is freaking pop star. Like, she's just, she's gonna be famous. And yeah, like PJ, love PJ. Malik, like, I've loved him since The Voice. Like, I was a huge fan, and then turns out, like, he was friends with me. I was like, wait, you're Malik Hurd. Like, I've been obsessed with you for years. So um yeah, I think everyone is really, really amazing. And just being able to sit there in the audience and watch them, it was like I had to go get popcorn because I was like, this is just like TV for me. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to see people do the duets because, like I said, I was
Dealing
all
with your own
day.
duet stuff.
Yeah, I was like, who I was going to sing with or whatever and what I was singing. So I wish I got to see more duets. So I actually enjoyed watching them on TV. It was so crazy. I'm like, I was there, but, like, I wasn't there. So I was getting to see it for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, so did you get a chance to kind of bond and get to know some of these contestants? Either, I mean, I know we didn't really talk about in the auditions, but like who did you sort of meet and get time to hang out with if you did?
Um, there were a few girls that I had known since I auditioned in New Orleans. So I knew them for quite a while. And then being able to see them during Hollywood Week was just amazing. And I already felt connected to them, and they kind of understood my story and stuff as well. So it was nice to have that. And then I met a few people along the way, like Malik. PJ is really sweet too. And honestly, like, everybody was really nice. I just, I'm very picky with who I, like, really connect with and really, like, kind of express, like, who I am as a person. So I don't really think that I got to have, like, that deep of bonds with people, and maybe it was just kind of like me self sabotaging myself because I felt like I wasn't deserving of my place there, and I
Mm.
felt like nobody really saw me as competition. So I kind of just distanced myself from everybody. And there was a point where I talked to Lionel Richie. He tells me, he's like, just know, like, we love you and we want to take care of you, and we want to protect you. And he just said, like, please just, make some friends, because I guess he was just watching me the whole time, just sitting by myself.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, like, you're like a legend. Why are you noticing how lonely I am right now? Like, please leave me alone. So, I mean, it was sad, like, he noticed that. And obviously, like, it would have been nice to make more friends. And I do think everybody was friendly because they were. But yeah, like I said, like, I just kind of prohibited myself from making those connections because I never knew when I was going to go home, and I didn't want to create those relationships to just have it go nowhere, I guess.
Before we get into Showstoppers, did you ever performed in front of a big audience, or what was your experience on stage?
Growing up, like, I always did, like, when I was really young, I did like talent showcases and stuff like that. And up until like high school, I did like four different choir classes and stuff. And I even did acting. So I did a lot of like performing in front of like audiences and, like shows and stuff. But it was never really like that solo kind of thing. Um, I did like talent shows in elementary school and middle school in talent shows. I would do solos, and that's like when I would feel like a star. There was a lot of my story that I from my life that I told to American Idol, and I'm surprised that they didn't really like show that. So I mean, I guess it's a good thing in a good way. But like I said in my story, like, I had really strict parents, and when they weren't happy with me or my siblings, like, the only thing that they could take away from us was music. Like, we weren't allowed to listen to music or anything like that. So we would get like our MP3 players, our iPods, like our anything that played music or radio, stuff like that. We would get that taken away from us. And we weren't allowed to sing. We weren't allowed to hum. Like, they tried to take me out of choir class. Um, and so, like, they prohibited me from being in um, talent shows for like the whole year and stuff. So it was really sad. And I feel like that's kind of why I never really got to flourish, in my singing career, because I never had the support from my family. And yeah, and like, when you don't have a family that doesn't support you, and it doesn't, and they tell you that you're not good enough, and they tell you that you'll never make it, it impresses those thoughts into your head as you grow older. And you spend your whole life just thinking, like, I'm not good enough. But like, I
Mm.
still had that voice in the back of my head just said, like, forget what they think, like, forget what they say, like, I'm still gonna try because it is my dream. So
Did doing American Idol sort of heal some of that past stuff that maybe told you that you weren't good enough?
yeah, I mean, I think even just making it to, I mean, even just getting a yes from the producer before even actually going to the actual auditions was just like a flag on the moon saying, like, forget what my parents said, for like growing up and hearing that I wasn't good enough. Obviously, I had these producers thinking, oh my God, like, I love your voice. Yes, of course you can go on to TV and audition for them. So I think the producers were, if not just as shocked or more shocked than I was that I didn't get a yes on the first one. Because I had a talk with them, and they're like, we was the last person on that day, and they were like, we know you're going to get a yes, like, we're so excited for you. And then I got a no, and they're like, what? So they were happy that I got that second chance. And like, I've had a rough ride on the American Idol journey, but just making it that far and making it to like the top 20, or not 20, the top 55, like, there's so many people that don't even make it that far, that never even get on the show. So I feel like it's important to acknowledge that, how important that is and how impressive that is. And I am proud, and I know that I'm not just a sob story. You know, I have a voice, and a lot of people like it. So not everybody will, but I really don't care. So I like
Yeah,
it. My kids like it. So that's all that matters to me.
absolutely. Really quickly, anything from Showstoppers or the final judgment that we didn't get to see? I mean, it seemed pretty straightforward on TV, but I at this point I have no idea because it sounds like there's a lot that we didn't get to
Yeah,
see.
I mean, I think Showstoppers was actually pretty much the same of how it went. Um, Obviously, I wish they showed my whole song because they didn't really show much of my song. They only showed the chorus. But I mean, it is what it is. They still showed my performance, so it's fine. Um, but I obviously just wish they showed more of it because I really like that was the first time that you would get to see me perform like how I usually would. Like I didn't cry. I was happy. I was singing like a happy, fun, like fast song, and I was dancing and I was engaging with the crowd, and like it really was so much fun, and it that showed like my love for music and what I wanted to do. And my sister from California, she came and supported me, so I got to see her in the audience on the TV, so that was great. Yeah, like it was crazy for my sister to get to see that side of me because obviously like our parents didn't let us, explore our music careers or anything like that. So that was really the first time that my sister really saw me perform. So that was amazing. And I felt really good about my performance and happy with it. So, like I was like, whatever they say, like I know I did good. And yeah, so I mean, going into final judgment and everything, it is what it is. I knew like a lot of people were going to be cut. Like everybody did amazing. Like everybody, we got to watch all the rehearsals, and seriously, everybody was like jaw droppingly good. And so I didn't want to be cut, obviously, but everybody has to get cut at some point. Not everybody can be the winner. And yeah, I think, like I said at the beginning, when I know things are not gonna go in the direction that I wanted it to, like obviously I am disappointed that I'm getting cut off, like I'm not making it. I have a right to be disappointed and I have a right to be upset. The way I act, it may seem like, oh my God, like she doesn't have a good attitude. Oh my God, like she's so disrespectful. And like they don't show everything that's said. So there is dialogue between us. Like they just don't show it. They just say the feedback. And so obviously I do tell the judges I love them. I do tell them thank you. And I do talk more throughout the process. They just don't show that part. Obviously, with me, I have a problem with rolling my eyes, but it's not like because I have an attitude. It's just how I control my face. Like it's how I control my tears because I'm not trying to like in that moment I was like, I am going home, but I want to be strong. Like I made it this far, like I don't want them to see me like, struggle because it was hard to deal with the reality that I was going to go home. And so it looked like I didn't handle it well, but whatever.
I know it's been a couple months, and I know that the show aired not that long ago, but what are your feelings now as you sort of reflect? If you had to sort of capture it in a bottle, what do you feel about American Idol?
um I feel like I was definitely excited to see how they were going to portray things because I know I'm a bit sassy and know like I kind of say things a certain way, and if people don't know me, it can come off a different way. So I was interested to see if I was like, am I gonna be like a diva on TV or something like that? But that's not the case. Like they didn't make it seem like that. So I was happy. I was just interested to see how it was gonna come across on TV, what they were gonna show and how they were gonna show it. Obviously, like we don't really get much heads up as to what's gonna be shown or like when will be shown and stuff like that. So we're watching it with just everyone else and we see it for the first time with everybody else, and honestly like every episode I watched, like I would end up crying because I was just like it would just take me back to the feelings that I felt. And yeah, honestly, like I don't think I can ever watch American Idol again like naively. Like it'll bring up those feelings again. Like I'll understand like that's what they go through because it's so crazy and it's like it's so emotional. And I mean, it is a good experience. It's a great experience, and you meet so many amazing people, and you get to, sing and do what you love in front of some really cool, amazing judges. And yeah, I think it took me a while to be okay about it again. I feel like my kind of feelings about it go up and down, but I'll always be grateful and I'll always be happy that I did it. Um, yeah, I think some days I'm like, oh, I'm never going to sing again because some people said this. But then I just have to remember, like, it is what I love to do. And I'm just excited about, whatever comes of my future and whatever it may be. Like, I just know I don't want to do anything else. I'm just not the person that's made to do anything else but singing and performing. So, yeah, I'm really excited to sing for the rest of my life and start the school that I'm going to in the fall and just work on my singing. So
Where are you going to school?
it's the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. And
Oh, that's
I'm going to
awesome.
be, yeah, I'm going to be getting my degree in musical theater to kind of get my singing experience more and also like learn about acting and stuff too. So
That's so exciting. Uh, one more note on the idol factor because you said that you don't watch it naively, which I thought was kind of interesting. Any advice for potential singers watching that might want to audition in the future?
yeah, honestly, I would say the best advice that I can give is it probably just comes down to like your personality more than anything. You have to have like a strong, you have to be strong mentally. Like it's so hard. Um, and like you don't even think it's that hard. You watch it on TV and you're like, oh, they're just being dramatic. Like that's what I thought throughout all the years of watching it. I'm like, it's not that crazy. But it seriously is. Like you don't get sleep. You have to like find times to eat like little snippets of food. And it really just shows like your love for music. So if you're not passionate about music and you're not willing to like be really tired and really hungry over singing, like just don't do it. And just don't have any expectations either. Like if you get cut, if you get told no, like I think the girl Ashley who, tried out 10 years for 10 years and never made it, but she finally did. Like she's an amazing singer. Like it just proves like you never know what the producers want at what time, and don't take this as a I suck, like I'll never be good enough, like they'll never want me. Somebody will always love your voice, somebody will always love you for who you are. And I'm still learning that like just because you get a no, it does not mean that your life is going to end. It doesn't mean that your singing career is going to end. And like the show just proves, like obviously I didn't make it that far, but I have grown a fan base that is there for me, and I'm grateful. So
Well, Fire, you mentioned actually that you performed a song that we didn't get to see that was your own in the audition. I wanted to ask you about that because I think we're all really excited to see what's coming up for you as far as original music. So, can you tell me about that song?
I wrote this song years ago, actually, going through some life circumstances. And the song was just about what I was going through in my life and not having the support that I needed. And the song is called Selfish, and it's really just about, like I've spent my whole life doing things for others and making other people happy. And the song is just saying, like, like it's my turn to be selfish. It's my turn to take a step back and do what I want to do and do what makes me happy, and not necessarily what you want me to do. So
Mhm.
I'm still trying to get it in the works and get it recorded and stuff. But as soon as I do, I would love to put it out in the world and kind of show a bit more of my story and more of myself with all my fans and stuff.
I've loved witnessing your story. I'm honored that you took more time to share it with us here on the podcast. And I want to know where people can follow you and stay tuned for more from you. Music coming out shows, anything like that? Where can people follow?
You can follow my Instagram. It's Fire Official. I think it's the same way all across the board. I mainly use my Instagram and TikTok. I don't really understand how to use Twitter. Um, but yeah, so yeah, just follow me on my Instagram and my TikTok, and I'll post like a lot of singing videos on there, and just as well as like what I'm going through in my life. I'll be making life updates on there, and yeah, hopefully be showing my um, experiences through college life and being in New York and being a mom to my amazing kid and singing my whole life. So, yeah, I look forward to sharing that aspect of my world with everyone.
Well, I'm so excited and happy for you, Fire. One more thing, just aside from American Idol, because there's so much on the horizon for you. Any either just like life advice or music advice for artists outside of the show that you want to leave people with?
I think if you know what you want to do, like, I think a lot of people kind of always feel what they want to do in their gut. Everybody usually has a good sense of what they want to do, whether it be a doctor or a singer or an actor or I don't know, like be in the military or whatever. If you feel that, and a lot of people are going to tell you that it's crazy, there's always going to be somebody to tell you it's not a good idea. But if you really feel it in your heart and you're willing to fight for it, there's always going to be a spot open. Like there's the world needs more of everything. This world is way too big to get told no. Like there's a place for you, and just remember that you're not what you do either, because on the topic of my work, which I specifically asked American Idol to not talk about. They obviously did. Like if you're doing something that you're not happy with, like it's okay. Like it's not a forever thing. If you say it's not a forever thing, it's not a forever thing. If you're working hard to, get out of what, just keep working hard, and it may take a while. Um it may take a lot of weight on you emotionally and physically, mentally, but I got out of it, and it wasn't a terrible experience dancing and everything like that, but I just knew it wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. And so, yeah.
Mm. Once again, Fire, I really appreciate your time and I really appreciate you going into such detail about your American Idol experience. I just hope that college brings you everything you want and more. I hope that everything that you want to happen takes off, and I'm so thankful that you took the time to talk to us. Guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, you can follow Idol Unaired Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me, Bennett Shear, on Instagram and TikTok at TV Music Guy. Fire, thank you so much again for being a part of American Idol Unaired.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.